We had some technical difficulties, but we are back. It's raining in Florida.
I don't know if that was
I don't know what
anything to do with it,
but he said it was over. So we're back. We're back like we never left. I talk about the drinking.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I was saying that when people find out that we don't drink, particularly people find out that, hey girl, when people find out that I don't drink anymore, they're like, oh, don't act like you wasn't drinking in college. Now you want to act brand new. And it literally has nothing to do with them. Like, my decision not to drink has nothing to do with them and everything to do with me. Like, I am choosing not to drink for myself. And people really struggle with that because they want to conceptualize why I'm not drinking. And then they're afraid that I am standing in the corner judging them because they are drinking. Like, anybody thinking about you?
It's about me.
I am doing this for myself. It has nothing to do with you. And people really struggle with that. And, that's that. So we're currently reviewing the Power of Now, Chapter 8. This is now officially Part 3 because we got disconnected. And we're talking about the pain body and how that impacts women. And one thing that Eckhart says is, usually it is at a time, I believe that, well, what is it? One of the best times for this is during the menses. So essentially, Eckhart says that during the menses, i.e. during the menstrual period, is a great time for women to really witness their consciousness, because it's when we tend to be triggered really easily. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of pain going on. You're feeling the pain within you. The energy is there. And that can really get in the way of you having, a less painful life. So that's a time when you could be really alert and see what's going on. Now, this is hard if you have to be at somebody's job. This is hard if you have to be in the office. How can you monitor your consciousness if you need to be in a meeting, if you need to be present in that way? Mm-hmm. And that's why it's really important that during our cycle, we are finding ways to give to ourselves some of that attention, because Eckhart talks about how important that is. When the first sign appears, you need to be alert enough to catch it before it takes you over. And since we read this chapter, my period is coming soon. I know TMI, but it is what it is. It's coming soon, coming attractions. And I've been more aware of how I'm behaving. And lately I've been having like a little bit of an attitude with JP. Like today, he was calling my name like 3 times or 4 times. He's like, babe, 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 babe. I'm like, what the fuck do you want?
I didn't want anything. I was just saying babe because that's how I felt at the moment. And she came out, what do you want? I was like, what's going on, babe? You all right? What's going on?
You're annoying the hell out of me. And I'm like, you just keep on saying my name and you don't want nothing. Don't be saying, babe, you don't want nothing. Yeah. That's not how I communicate with him regularly. But again, it's the cycle time. It is my consciousness. It's not usually where it is. And I think it's a time for us to really pay close attention to that.
When you know, is that where you're
going? Where are you?
Oh, no. Paragraph right here.
No. I left that. I was going to leave some of that already. I was going to move on to my next one.
Well, he does say this. He says, when the first sign appears, you need to be alert enough to catch it before it takes you over. So was that Boss who just said it was like she feels possessed yes. by it?
Yes.
And you know it's coming on.
Yes.
You, for example, the first sign may be a sudden strong irritation or a flash of anger, or maybe purely a physical symptom. As
this is my first sign. Y'all see this mark of Buddha that's coming on my forehead?
Whatever it is, catch it before it can take over your thinking or behavior. That simply means putting the spotlight of your attention on it. If it is an emotion, feel the strong energy change behind it.
This is easier said than said.
Doesn't sound easy at all. I'm reading this. I was like, oh yeah, I get it. Yeah, that sounds easy.
This is not. This
sounds hard, even when you don't have your body telling you all this stuff is coming along. So.
Yeah, especially when you're feeling like you're inside, there's a porcupine inside of you.
Are you birthing a porcupine?
Feel like when you feel like you're birthing a porcupine during your period, at least that's how I feel. I mean, I could be alone on that. Ladies, feel free to chime in. I don't have time for that. I'm like, I got a porcupine. I can't feel no damn energy field. And then he says, do not let the pain body use your mind and take over your thinking. Watch it, feel its energy directly inside your body. As you know, full attention means full acceptance. I did this during my period last month. I did exactly what Eckhart talks about, and it is hard and it is painful because you take all of your energy and you concentrate it in that kind of ball of energy that's killing you from the inside.
Killing you softly.
It is soft. It's a very soft pain for that. And I have to probably say, people probably think the period is the worst, but it is the worst. It's much better now than when it used to be. That's why I don't know women that have their cycle for 10 days. Ladies, what's the longest you've had your cycle? Like, drop it in the comments, because my joint lasts like 3 to 4 days, less than 5 days. And when it goes to 7 days, I am panicking. I am like, why is this still going on? Why does my body hate me? Why does my body hate me? It's like you have to separate your emotions from the pain. Yeah. 7 days? Woo! Yeah. Michelle's cycle, I mean, I'm like dropping her name.
Yeah, right. We're showing all Michelle's business on the live here.
Yeah, no, she is. Just cycle has 7 days.
She put it though. It's there.
I mean, it's 7 days. Mine lasts 4 or 5 days. And I think, I don't know how much is the average back in the day. Oh, my sister just joined. Hey, BG. She just joined the live too. We love you too. Yeah, you have to come over for dinner one of these days. Whatever that means. So it's like a real fucking deal. Menstruation will then become not only the pain body. So he says that once you accept the pain, your cycle lasts 6 months. That's the question. The question is, how long does your cycle last? That's the question that's here. Oh, due to birth control. Really? Oh yeah, that's why I got off that, girl. I don't play that birth control shit no more. I definitely got off. I got off hormonal birth control.
With prophylactics.
I got off of that. Now I just monitor my fertility signs, and we can do another video on that.
Right.
Because we've been doing it together for a few, like almost a year now. Well, a little bit more than that, like a year and a half.
I was skeptical in the beginning.
And JP was really skeptical.
She had to come to me with some data. She did. She had all the data, the books, and I was like, all right.
10 days after birth. Really? Oh no. Oh man, y'all in this long period. I'm gonna pray for y'all, because I'm complaining over my little 4 days, and sometimes it's 3 days. Okay, all right. I'm gonna stop complaining as much.
Shouldn't be complaining about anything, babe. It's the ego.
I know, but the ego hurts.
Where's the ego hurts? It always hurts. The ego always hurts. That's what gets us into all types of trouble.
The ego hurts.
If somebody hurts the ego, whether it's actually our own body hurting the ego or somebody else poking it.
Shut up.
All right. If your male partner is conscious enough, hey, he can help you with the practice I have just described by holding the frequency of intense presence, particularly at this time. If he stays present whenever you fall back into unconsciousness, identification with the pain body, which you can and will happen at first, you will be able to quickly rejoin him in that state.
JP is very conscious, ladies. I have to say, he's a very conscious partner. He knows when the time is coming, because I announced it loud and clear.
I'm a feeler.
And he feels my energy shift, and he'd be like, he'll put one of these little numbers where he put his hand on my belly and be like, "Are you okay, babe?" And I'm like, "Don't fucking touch me." Anything I can do, babe. I'd be like, "Get out of here."
Yes, you can birth this porcupine for me. Just take it out of me, actually. Just take it all out, all of it.
Yo, you can birth this porcupine. I already went past this.
All right.
And apparently I didn't have anything in here. Give up the relationship with yourself. Oh my God, this was a lot. Go ahead. What do you have next?
Right before that, I have, in a way, a permanent energy field of pure and high frequency will arise between you. This is between the male and the female. No illusion, no pain. Live video was paused over here.
Keep going.
No illusion, no pain, no conflict. Nothing that is not you and nothing that is not love can survive it. This represents the fulfillment of the divine transpersonal purpose of your relationship. It becomes a vortex of consciousness that will draw in many others. So even if she was unconscious, which she's not, she's very conscious. Me being conscious, she's not going to be unconscious for long, because it's going to pull you in. Or it may even, if you did decide that and this was too much, we wouldn't even be here together.
Absolutely. And then this question comes up. When one is fully conscious, would one still have a need for a relationship? Would a man still feel drawn to a woman? Would a woman still feel incomplete without a man? Do you have anything on that?
No.
Okay, so I have something. And Eckhart says that there is a level of incompleteness on the physical level, because women are women and men are men. And then there's this kind of level of incompleteness when you look at that. But in a state of interconnectedness, you feel this pull where on the surface of the periphery of your life, anything that happens to you in that state feels somewhat like that, like you're kind of incomplete. However, this does not mean that you don't relate deeply to other people, or that, wait, did I go ahead? Yeah. The whole world seems like waves or ripples on the surface of a vast and deep ocean. You are the ocean, and of course, you are also a ripple, but a ripple that has realized its true identity in the ocean, and compared to the vastness of the depth of the world and waves, the ripple is not all that important. So essentially, there is a level that you may feel incomplete. And that is on this shell, on your form. The form that you have might be incomplete. And that doesn't necessarily mean like male, like just because I'm a woman, he's a man. You may also feel that if you are in a homosexual relationship too. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it applies just in gender based. So whatever gender pronoun you utilize to identify yourself. In fact, you can relate deeply only if you are conscious of being. Coming from being, you are able to focus beyond the veil of form. So it is perfectly possible for an enlightened person, if the need for the male or female polarity does not met, to feel a sense of lack or incompleteness on the outer level of this in her being, yet at the same time be totally, completely fulfilled, at peace with. So Eckhart is like, yeah, there's an element of you that you may not feel whole because, or incomplete because of the form, but you still are going to feel whole because you are full with your own being.
Right.
And actually met a woman, I'm going to release her podcast episode next week. And she's in her 50s and she doesn't have any children and she doesn't have a partner either. And she talks about how much she feels whole because of how much she loves herself and cares for herself and just feels like there's none of that disconnect. And she talks a lot about that on the podcast and how people are like, oh, you're 50 and you don't got a family, you don't got kids and you don't have a husband. Like, what's wrong with you? And for her, it's like, oh, I'm good. Like, I'm not going to be with somebody that does not meet what I want because I don't need that. Like, I don't need to compromise with someone about these things because I'm really good with myself.
Right.
And that was a fascinating conversation because it was new to your girl. Like, I grew up thinking that you have to get married or have kids or all these other things. And she really challenged a lot of those beliefs for me. And I think what Eckhart talks about here alludes to that, where you can be whole without having to go through all of that other stuff.
Right.
So.
And even in my practice of business coaching, that comes up, the fact that someone maybe not married, by the age of 25 and have these kids, that was or can be a psychological barrier for them moving on to other things in their life that they want to accomplish because they haven't went past this gate, this milestone gate that they need to run through before they can move on to the next thing.
On to the next thing.
So then he asks, in the quest for enlightenment, is being gay a help or a hindrance, or does it not make any difference? And then he says, in that respect, being gay can be a help. Being an outsider to some extent, someone who does not fit in with others or is rejected by them for whatever reason, makes life difficult, but it also places you at an advantage as far as enlightenment is concerned. It takes you out of the unconscious almost by force. So being gay, he said, may or may not be a help, but just the simple fact that you're not a part of everybody else, you're not part of the collective pain body, you're able to see things people aren't privy to seeing because they're so caught up in the collective. So, if you're for example, in school, if everyone's looking for a date for the prom and you're gay and you're not part of that, where there's going to be some things that you realize that everybody isn't going to because they're so caught up in the fact that they need a date for prom. And what this reminds me of, an example for me is I changed schools a lot growing up. So with my mom and dad got a divorce, I changed different schools. Maybe I went to 5 different schools in a range of like 6 years. And so I always felt like I was the outsider. But at the same time, now looking back on that, I'm able to realize why everybody was what I thought was picking on me or why they considered me an outsider. It was because I wasn't necessarily there to fit in with them. I was there to do what I needed to do to get my good grades. And they kind of saw that as being different. A threat.
Michelle says she is whole as she is without the extras. Absolutely, she is. And she spoke a lot about that. Spoke a lot of that during our conversation and how it was a different, it wasn't that she's not looking. She's not looking, but she's also not looking. Like she's a double negative there. Like she's not, that's not her priority right now. It's just to live her life and enjoy it. I struggle with that since we got married later in life. Oh, what is it that you struggle with? We probably missed that part because JP was reading. Which part was that? Was that on the idea of what like accomplishing things? I don't know.
Let us know.
Let us know which part are you referring to, and we're gonna come back and address it. Okay.
She got the whole page highlighted. I got half the page highlighted here, so
let's go with your half. It's fine.
All right. It is not true. Oh, so he has another question here. Is it not true that you need to have a good relationship with yourself and love yourself before you can have a fulfilling relationship with another person? And he goes on to say, if you cannot be at ease with yourself when you are alone, you will seek a relationship to cover up your unease. You can be sure that the unease will reappear in some other form within the relationship, and you will probably hold your partner responsible for it. Lord.
Okay, the part JP was reading. So you were reading before that. It was before the gay part. Was it before the gay part? Anybody that comes on in this live is gonna be like, what?
All right. Let us know.
Let us know which part it was specifically.
Yeah.
JP read a lot. Actually, the part you read. Okay. So I was reading here. Oh, the sense of incompleteness and fulfillment.
Yeah.
Yes. So in the perfect possible and I in person, if your male polarity doesn't meet the sense of incompleteness at a level, you at the same time maybe totally feel complete. Yeah. And I could definitely see that, Michelle, being in a relationship at a later stage in your life, because then there are all these societal pressures around, and then people around you, some of your friends they may have been entering other areas of their life by now too. So that's also present depending on what you have going on. And a lot of us, like when I grew up, like I'm in my 30s and my family's been waiting for grandkids for like ever. And I'm since I got in a relationship pretty much. They've been on some, when are we gonna get like the kids? And then it was like, I'm in school because I was in my master's program. And then when we moved to DC and we quote unquote had it together, it's like what we waiting for. So I think a lot of that can make us feel like people are rushing us, which is funny because it's kind of like family. Hurry up and go have sex. It's kind of like what they're saying. Like go and have unprotected sex right now.
There's nothing new. One of my mentors, I remember him telling me about his mother-in-law, like being all up in their business, like what's going on? Do you need me to come in there and show you how to put it in? Like,
no way.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that. I won't mention his name here, but he was like, his wife's mom was just like, where are these kids? Like, what are you guys waiting for? And this was like right after they got married, and I think he was still in his 20s. So yeah, you
need me to tell you how to put it in.
Right.
That's a word. That's a word.
So we were, before we moved back, we were talking about, I'm just going to read this question again. Is it not true that you need to have a good relationship with yourself and love yourself before you can have a fulfilling relationship with another person? And he says, if you don't, you can be sure that the unease will appear in some other form within the relationship, and you're probably going to hold your partner responsible for it. So, I think this actually came up in our relationship when I told, at one point that I didn't want to resent her. At some point for something that she was doing or not doing that I thought she needed to do. And I thought
that was unconscious, yeah.
That was unconscious me, right?
I forget.
And I thought I had a good relationship with myself, but that was something that was coming out, and that was something I had to deal with on my own. Luckily, I was able to do some reading and get that figured out. But how many relationships have we been in where out of nowhere this person seems to start blaming you for stuff that you're like, there's nothing in my control. There's nothing that I could do to help you with that. And I'm just living my life. So whether it be that person, maybe past relationships they've had with other men or women, something their parents may have done or not done for them that they bring back up. Yeah.
Michelle says, oh my God, we are in our 40s and hear that every convo, and I have my own thoughts on it too. Yeah, we can definitely relate to that, Michelle, because I think a lot of people think that that's all we're here to do. We're just here to
pop
procreate.
Them babies.
We're here to go to school, get married, or not get married, but preferably get married, and then procreate, and then the cycle continues going. And I think that doesn't take into account, like, people may be struggling to people may be struggling to have kids. I mean, I have friends that right now are struggling to manifest babies. They're struggling with their pregnancy, and people are maybe asking, oh, when you guys gonna have kids? When you guys gonna have kids? And you have no idea what's the reason that they're going through, and they may be trying really hard to have these kids. Gabrielle Union talked about that in her book, We're Gonna Need More Wine, and she talks about her own challenges with this because they have been trying to get pregnant for a really long time. She said she went through like 8 miscarriages or something like that. And imagine going through 8 miscarriages to try to have a baby, and somebody had the nerve to ask you, when you gonna have kids? Like, that's so inconsiderate, and it doesn't take into account that there's just other things people can be dealing with. So I think it's a question that society, we have to just kind of retire, like let people have kids if they want to, if they don't want to. And also student loans, well, kids and cheap.
That's why I know a lot of millennials are holding back from doing or taking steps in life that traditionally our parents would have done before, whether it be buying a house, having kids, starting to save for retirement, because they just don't have the money to do those things. And kids aren't cheap, as you just said, babe. They cost moolah.
Because the people say that the first year of a kid, the first 5 years is like $100,000, something wild like that, which amazes me because my mom had 3 of us. Like, where did you get this money?
We didn't have $100,000 in the house in that time.
Where did you get this money to like have all these kids? Like, where did that money come from? So, and that's probably why older generations feel like, well, I got to get this payment back. Like, I done invested a lot on you, so I'm trying to get my ROI out here. Like, you asked to be born, but we won't get into that. Maybe we'll do a live and talk about this, Michelle, and bring you on. And like, you can share your experience with us as someone that is seeking to manifest in a different season in her life. Because I think people call 30 a old mom. Having kids in your 30s, people are like, oh, I don't want to be an old mom and have my kids in my 30s. And I'm like, bitch, I'm 30 and I don't got kids. Am I going to be an old mom?
Like, I don't want to be an old mom.
I used to say that but when I said an old mom, I wasn't thinking 30. I've never been like, I want to have kids before 30. I never said that. That's never been my vibe. I'm trying to be out here in somebody's beach. Be on the 30. So then he says that having a relationship with yourself. Yeah.
But do you need to have a relationship with yourself at all?
I'm gonna be fully honest with y'all.
Why can't part you of the book, be yourself?
This part of the chapter, I'm still working through.
Especially as a rebel 4 who loves the unique.
Shut up. I'm still working through this part because Eckhart says, but do you need to have a relationship with yourself at all? Why can't you just be yourself? When you have a relationship with yourself, you have to split yourself into 2. I and the myself, subject and object. That mind-created duality is the root cause of all unnecessary complexity of all problems and conflict in your life. In the state of enlightenment, you are yourself. You and yourself merge into one. You do not judge yourself. You do not feel sorry for yourself. You are not proud of yourself, and you do not love yourself. You do not hate yourself, and so on. The split caused by self-reflective consciousness is healed. Its curse removed. There is no self that you need to protect, defend, or feed anymore. When you are enlightened, there is one relationship that you no longer have, the relationship with yourself. Once you've given that up, all your other relationships will become love relationships. I can't say that I'm fully with this joint because I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I still say I'm proud of myself. So, and I remember JP being like, "Why you gotta say you're proud?" And it wasn't to me. I think we were having a different conversation.
Yeah,
you're like, I don't say things like I'm proud. I'm like, oh, I'm proud of you, and you were like, why did you say that? Like, I don't need you to be proud of me. I'm not proud of me. I'm just doing what needs to be done. And I was like, somebody didn't get love as a child.
Or did I?
Or did he?
Yeah, and the only
like
thing
Michelle
here,
says, Doc called mom over 40 geriatric. Lord.
And that doesn't help.
That does not.
That's
Doctor,
adding to the pain.
Doctor, that is not what is in your book.
So in that last phrase, I think you're very important for the last paragraph. For me, it says you do not judge yourself. That's what I struggle with, judging myself. And I'll tell you, even like playing basketball, like I miss a shot, and I'm like, damn it, JP, get better, or get back on it, JP, get on the game. So I definitely can see that. But yeah, I'm never a person who's been like, I'm proud of myself. Like, I'm just doing what I want to do, regardless of what the outcome is.
And this really challenged me, y'all. If you're gonna be honest. everything on here. Today we've discussed periods, we discussed sex, and a bunch of other information.
Periods.
So, I struggle. I think for me, what's going on over there? I think for me, I do judge myself. I compare myself to other people a lot. That's an area where I'm still working through and struggling with. And the comparison thing, this is something that when we decide to have kids, it's gonna be something that we're gonna have to really think about how we're going to work through, because in schools you also get compared a lot. Like there is the valedictorian who has the best grades, there's the salutatorian who has the second best grades. Like everything is this concept of comparison, and I think this is something that is so embedded within us that it's really hard to shake off. And even the thing about proud, our parents say things like, oh, I'm proud of you, or I'm proud of this, and I'm proud of blah, blah, blah. And then you learn that you have to feel proud too. And pride takes on an animal of its own. So I hear you, Eckhart. I really do. Like,
Michelle says, what if you weren't affirmed as a child and now you're working on loving self?
I think that this is my interpretation, right? I think that you get to this point. So you first go from you are enlightened, and as you begin your enlightenment process, you do go through this period of time where you begin to develop that relationship with yourself, because you realize that there is a relationship that you are lacking, right? So I think that there is a way, that's a path to begin the path of just, okay, I'm gonna build this relationship with myself. For my interpretation, you don't have to take it. But I think you go through the process and you're like, oh man, I didn't get that. Okay, do I need that? Let me give myself that right now. And the more you give it to yourself, you start realizing that maybe I don't need it on the long term. Maybe I don't need this to continue surviving. Maybe it serves its purpose, like if you would have gotten it when you were a kid. Yeah. And then you go to the next phase where you're like, oh, I don't need it anymore. So it's kind of like getting the training wheels. So I see the relationship with myself right now as the training wheel. And when I'm ready to move on to like the non-training wheel bike or whatever has training wheels, then I'm going to be able to not use it anymore. But in this season, I'm still working through this process because there is such a love deficiency that was within me that I'm still kind of pushing through that too. So I'm with you, Michelle. We're going to work through this part of the chapter together, sis, because full transparency, I'm still going to be talking about I'm proud of myself. Even just saying that to you right now makes me be like, oh, I shared that with Michelle on video. I'm proud of myself. I wonder how much of that is the ego.
I was about to say, what makes you feel like you need to say that? Why do you need to feel proud? What does that give you?
I don't know that I don't know how I thought about that before. I think part of me is perhaps just feeling like I'm doing something that's challenging. And when you do something you're challenged by, it is societal norm or acceptable to be proud of you taking on that challenge. It's kind of like the next step. It's sort of like I'm not even blocking it into different steps. It's kind of just like one step, right? Realize it's kind of like I'm saying I did this thing, it's challenging. I am proud of myself for doing that thing. So it's almost like you didn't believe you could do that thing and then you did it. And then it's like, oh shit, I did it. So it's more of a manifest. I think the idea of being proud of yourself is more of a manifestation of, at least for me, it's a manifestation of a lack of belief in yourself. And it kind of like, you finally are like, oh, I didn't believe that thing was going to happen. And it happened. Oh my God. Like, I'm proud that I did it because now I experienced it.
Would you be proud if you didn't get your expected outcome? Would you be proud regardless that you had even attempted to do something?
Yes, I would. I will be proud because when I ran the New York City Marathon, I wanted to do it in less than 4 hours and 40 minutes. And I didn't. I did it in 5 hours and plus. And I was still proud that I did it because I hit the finish line. And I think my relation, I'm not really, what the fuck being proud means? What does being proud mean? JP don't fuck me up. Like, stop talking. Shut up.
That's what I'm here for.
What does it mean to be proud?
Questions.
What does it mean to be proud, y'all? We're talking about what does it mean to be proud now, because it's kind of like
we're at the end of this chapter.
We are at the end of chapter 8 of the Power of Now. This is part Lord knows what.
So feeling a deep pleasure or satisfaction as a result of one's own achievements, qualities, or possessions, or those of some with whom one is closely associated.
So it sounds like being proud is all about the ego, y'all.
About the things that we have or the things that we associate that we have with other people. So I can be proud of my son because he did XYZ accomplishments, but then again, that's an extension of me because I feel like I'm part of that. You know, even if I'm supporting someone, like I feel like I can't even support them, and that's part of the reason why I'm proud of them. Because
Deb, just come here. It's just stop by the live and drag me. Deb says it's all the ego.
Where's Deb at?
She's right here. Wow. Michelle, Deb says it's all ego.
Over on Facebook.
Over on Instagram.
IG, yeah.
So being proud is all about the ego, huh? Damn, why you gotta do that to me? Like, come on.
Well, I guess my ego isn't speaking as loudly because, as I said, I've never been like I'm proud of myself.
I said that to myself yesterday. Yeah. I wonder if when we say things like "I'm proud of myself," you are feeding your ego.
Good job.
It's like
good job. Pat on the back.
Yeah,
pat yourself on the back.
Like, yeah, you did a good job. You should be proud.
Yeah.
You can be proud of yourself because you are yourself. Thank you, Deb. Thank you.
Deb?
This is my line sister. Your
ego come on here more often.
Your ego is proud of you.
Your ego is proud of you. Once again, that's split. You're splitting yourself into two, right?
I don't like it.
Damn.
Your ego is proud of you. Michelle, you see, I'm feeling so exposed right now. Like, I feel so exposed because I use that. And you know what's crazy? I see that on the internet all the time. People being like, be proud of yourself, sis. You woke up this morning. I know that bar is kind of like, whatever, but depending on what you're going through, that might have been really hard for you. And I see it, and it's been normalized. Like, oh, you need to be proud of your accomplishment, to proud of yourself. And now that you're saying it, it's like, damn, it's all the ego. Okay, Deb, since you're here, we have a question for you. Michelle wants to know, so then you don't affirm yourself? Well, no, because who are you affirming?
And
what's the intention for the affirmation?
Affirmation probably means that there's something that's a lack that we're really looking to fill in to ourselves, and we're telling ourselves that we need that thing, and really we're perfect just as we are.
You're never going through anything is the narrative you create. I'm gonna block you.
And I'm gonna call you. We need to talk. Deb says, you're never going through anything. It's the narrative you've created. You're right. That makes total sense, because when I say I'm proud, there had to be something to accomplish and achieve to experience that. That means I had to go through something. It's not bedtime.
I'm laughing because Michelle said good night.
It's not bedtime, Michelle. It's still light out. You can still seek the light today. It's not good night.
I just feel like Deb came on here on chapter 8. She ended up into his lives and just shut us down. Michelle says, bye, Deb. Deb, thank you for coming on here and
you guys are great.
And dropping this.
Ladies are great.
Yes, you're never going through anything. It's the narrative you're created.
Yeah.
So right now, I am not going through anything. I just created this narrative that I wasn't going to go through nothing. And now that I am, I'm like, oh, I'm going through something. And it might have been like, for my friends that are looking to manifest pregnancies, you created a narrative that it was going to be easy to get pregnant. And now it's not as easy as you thought it was going to be. And now you feel that you need to affirm yourself through that stuff.
Right. And it might not even be something that you created. It may have been something your parents
society created for you.
Exactly.
Yes.
That you're supposed to have these kids by this age and have this man by this age. That's the narrative that's been created. So yeah.
I don't like this.
It's always the ego.
I don't like that pride is about the ego, but it makes sense because when you're proud, it's the pride. And the pride.
I did this. Big me.
Macho man.
Big me. I did this.
I wasn't prepared for this type of ending for this chapter, guys, ladies.
I'm excited.
I have to say that
for the next one. Lord, indeed. Let me go ahead and let me get some of that.
JP here about to Deb just came and shut it the fuck down.
Right.
Like, that's how you shut it down, ladies and gentlemen. You show up and just be like, oh, that's my favorite book. By the way, yep, it's all the ego. Done. That book, yes, it is the truth, Deb. Like, this is our second reread, and honestly, this is my first time even getting some of these gems. Like, the idea that being proud of yourself is the ego, that really has taken me back right now. And I'm like, so if I'm not proud of myself, I'm nothing. Snatching wigs and edges.
I'm gonna go drop this right here into another group that I have.
They're gonna kick him out.
I want to talk about this. Like,
they're gonna kick him out.
I'm probably gonna. Yeah, this is gonna be an interesting conversation. We'll see.
Wow, Deb.
Your pride is your ego.
Your pride is your ego. Well, Deb, if you're interested and want to come out here and snatch people's edges off, if I had hair, you would have snatched all of it. We're gonna be doing chapter 9 tomorrow. Thank you for stopping by.
Beyond happiness and unhappiness, there is peace. So tomorrow, we're gonna get over the ego, and we're gonna find the peace tomorrow.
Petra says, I need that book. Yes. You know what? Maybe what we'll do, once we're done with this book, we'll give away a book to celebrate that we're done with it. Maybe we can find a way. Maybe we'll do that.
Maybe we should probably be promoting giving away the book that we're going to talk about next.
Yes,
so
yes.
We're still figuring this out, guys, but we appreciate the feedback and all this energy that you guys are bringing us from all over.
Petra, you could get the book on Amazon. And they have it on Amazon. They also have it on like your bookstore, but you can definitely get it from Amazon. If you are interested, this is going to be our next reading. We're going to start this next week. We're going to read the 5 love languages. So if you have it, if you have a partner, or if you, whatever you're looking, whatever, this is going to be the next book we're going to read. If you have it, then, read it with us. If not, if you have Audible is another place where you can get the Power Now, and you can also get this book too. Your library, there's an app. What's the library app that you used to have?
A number of library apps.
Check out the New York City Public Library, Petra might have it. So check it out there if you don't want to pay for it. But honestly, this book is worth every penny.
Just go buy it.
Just go buy it. Like, just buy it and keep it by your next time.
You see all these tabs. You got to see all the highlights that we have in here.
A lot.
I'm sure Deb has Deb says Audible as well. I have the Audible.
We have Audible.
I might have the digital version too. So yeah. This
is a really good book and powerful book, and it's gonna challenge your perspective. You just saw it in real life, where I'm being told that allegedly, being proud is the ego.
Proud of you, babe.
Don't tell me that thing no more. Don't be proud of nobody. If you have kids, read this book. And read it with an open mind. Don't go in it thinking Eckhart Tolle's dumb. Just go with an open mind and then check it out. Yes, Petra. Get it from Amazon, buy it, invest in it, and then once you read it and you love it and it helps you, get a copy for your friends. All right. Her next book is gonna be the 5 love languages. So for those of us that are in a relationship
or not. If you're not in a relationship, you can learn your love language. So when you find that person, they're going to know.
They're going to know. If you're wondering, my predominant love language is quality time. What's yours?
Mine, I have 2. So I have Ty for quality time and, touch? Physical touch? Yeah, those are my 2. So
are my 2 also quality time and physical touch? I feel like there are. And I feel like words of affirmation was a high one for me too, which is set up because I just learned the being proud is
words of affirmation.
So I've been set up.
My words of affirmation is really low. Like, it's all the questions on the quiz. I was like, I don't personally really like when people tell me things like, I know I'm good. I know I'm a nice guy. I don't need other people to tell me that.
I know I'm good. I know I'm a nice guy. I had a great childhood. I was really loved.
All right, guys.
Thank you for spending time with us through all of our technical difficulties. We appreciate you, Michelle. Michelle, do you want to, you know what? I feel like we should just give a copy of this book to Michelle because she's been through all of this lives with us.
We'll figure something out.
We'll figure it out.
All right,
Thank you for spending time with us.
Check you later.
Deuces. Bye, number. Yo, Deb just came.